Hey you. Hi guys. So thank you very much for that warm welcome.
Thank you
I'm
so much
deeply
for having
honored.
us.
I'm deeply honored. Uh, uh, well, we just try to be good at what we do. The idea is whatever is what's doing at all is what doing well. You understand? So whatever you find yourself in, so you just try to make sure you stand out, and wherever you're being seen, right? You are actually leaving a footmark. You understand? So people know that okay, this is you, they know you for your craft. Welcome everybody to today's class, and I want to tell you that you choosing product design is actually one of the best decision you would have actually ever make. You understand? First off, coming into tech is actually a great decision because the world is revolving, it's fast revolving, and it's actually a good thing to follow the trend. You understand? So, product design is actually a it's a good step. It's actually a good step and a good decision when while transitioning into tech because it's quite easy and it's something you can easily resonate with. You understand? So product design is come on, let me share my screen so we can go into we can go into today's class. Can everybody hear me? Okay. So just give me a minute. Yes. So okay. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So going into UI UX, we will start from scratch, and I would just like to make everybody familiar with UI UX product design. You understand? So UI UX is something you guys have had experience of, but you guys are not really aware. It's something you see every day. It's something you feel every day. It's something you work with every day. Do you understand? From you turning on your smartphones, you using your laptop, you using any application on your phone. This particular platform we are using, UI UX was involved in the development process. Your WhatsApp, your TikTok, Instagram, and the likes. You understand? So basically, UI UX is just something that is a craft that makes an individual understand and understand the process of how an application is being developed, why the application is being developed, what and what to do, or what and what to include in that application that is being developed, and how to make the application stand out, and how to make the users enjoy the application, enjoy using the application. So let's dive into a copy of this note has been shared on the group. I would like everybody to go to it later after the class and try to read up on it so you can have better understanding as the recording might not be available to everybody, just as um our the person who introduced me earlier on said. So now these are the objectives of this week's class. So after the end of this session, you should be able to understand the fundamentals of UI UX and product design. You should be able to distinguish between UI and UX. You should be able to recognize the roles and responsibility of a product designer, and you should be able to get familiar with essential design tools. Now let's start. What is product design? Product design is the process of identifying a market opportunity, clearly defining the problem, developing a proper solution, and validating the solution with real users. It merges elements of UI, which is UI, user interface, UX, which is user experience, and business thinking to create usable digital products. That is a very long definition. Let us break it down, right? Product design is process of identifying a market opportunity. We have multiple applications. Let's say you want to book a ride. Before we add Uber, before we add Taxify and the likes, what we do normally is to go to a taxi park and grab a taxi wherever you're going. And someone sat down and looked at it. Why do I have to go through the stress of the aim is actually to leave my home to wherever my destination is without stress. You understand? So why do I now have to board a bike to the bus stop, take a probably napep or a bus to the taxi park before I now get the taxi that I want to hire to carry just me? Why not let us just come up with an application where you can have access to fleet of cars, fleet of drivers who can come and pick you up right at your home and take you down to your destination. You don't have to jump buses, you don't have to jump bike, just a seamless journey. You understand? So that is the idea behind product designing. So the idea is you identify a market opportunity, you define the problem, then you develop a proper solution, validate the solution with real users. Do we understand? So the instance I just gave now covers all this. Why can't I just let's see how we can make it easy for people to have access to a vehicle that moves them from where they are to where they want to go easily. That is identifying the market opportunity. You've defined the problem and you've developed a solution to it. Do you understand? So that is the process of product design, which we would actually get into. We are actually going to get into that. But right here, I just want you to understand the basic. I want you to understand what you are trying to do, what you are trying to get into, what your job function is going to be, what your responsibility would be as a product designer. Do you understand? So what you are expected to do as a product designer, what is expected of you is to look at market opportunities, look at the problem people are facing. You come up with a solution. And that solution is not just a regular solution that, okay, I believe this thing is going to solve this problem. That is your own belief. You still have to ask for people's opinion. And those people are your users because those people are the ones you are actually designing for. You're not designing for yourself. What works for you might not work for the next person. So you need to reach out to real users, get their opinion on the product you are designing or whatever project you are trying to work on. That is what defines you as a product designer. Do you understand? So it merges elements of UI, UX, business thinking to create usable digital products. What is UI? UI stands for user interface, and UX basically is user experience. And okay, let's go on to the next slide. Here we have differences between UI and UX. UX focuses on the overall experience a user has with the product or service. It's about structure, logic, flow, and functionality. UI focuses on the visual layout of elements that a user interacts with. That's your buttons, typography, spacing, and colors. Let me break this down. Starting from UI. UI is what you see, what you interact with. When you open your WhatsApp, the screen you see, the display you see, that is the user interface. Where you have your chats, your call, all those buttons you click, all those segments where you have one person's chat stacked up on another person's name, stacked up on another person's name. That is user interface. That is what the user interface looks like. What you can see, what you can resonate with. Now, talking about user experience is now what you get, what you feel after using that application. User experience is the experience you have from using that application. And how are you able to have that experience? You're able to have that experience because a product designer, a person, right, a professional has sat down and thought about it that, okay, when you open WhatsApp, this is the first thing I want them to see. This is the first screen I want them to have access to. Right from that first screen, they have a few buttons there that has been aligned that perform so function. After clicking on that button, it goes to so screen. After clicking on any other button under that screen, it goes to another screen. That is what is behind user experience. The logic, the user flow, the functionality, right? Okay, let me give you another example. Say you want to transfer money to someone and you want to use your mobile application. The first thing you do is to log into your mobile application, right? Mobile banking application. The next thing, you have a button to press where you see transfer to same bank or transfer to other banks. Then you click on that button. The next line it takes you to, or the next screen it opens is where you input the account number, the bank details, the account number and the bank name, blah blah blah. Then after validating that, it asks you how much you want to send. After you confirm that, it now asks you for your PIN. That is a user flow. That is what we call user flow. And all these things are being carried out by a product designer. That is the process of user experience. Do we understand? Do we have any question? If we have any question, we can raise our hand. If we are following, if we all are following, let's kindly raise up our hands. Let me see. Okay, so we totally understand the analogies have been given. Okay, okay.
Sorry, please. I don't quite get the difference. Please, can you run through it again?
All right. Okay, no problem. When you open up your uh okay, let me see if I can give you an example, right? Where is okay. Now, when you open up um your mobile application, it shows you a screen. Let me okay. Let me open this and use this for okay. Now, this is an example of a user flow, right? And
Hello, sorry. I can't see anything. Oh. I don't understand. I can't see anything.
I want to give you um a real life example so you can actually, follow through. Hello, do you have a question?
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Are you
Yeah, I
the
can
only
hear
one
you,
that
sir.
cannot see? Is
Yes,
there
we
someone
can
else
hear
that cannot
you.
see?
I can't see anything on the screen.
Can all of you? Is that the same for
I can see your
everybody
single
else or
person.
just
I,
you?
I, I
Yes, sir.
I suggest you should
Okay,
check
you
your
can see my
network
screen.
because we can see everything that is happening right now. So
Ah,
please check your network.
I have a strong connection. I don't know the reason why I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, can you just leave the call and come back?
All right.
Just try it.
Log in and log out. Log in and log out and log in.
Okay, so are we together?
Yes, sir.
So this
Yes.
is an example of the user experience process where this is the home page. This is the home page. Now, on the home page, this is what we expect our users to see on the home page. You have the navigation bar, the awareness, hero banner, the packages. Now, this is for a website. This is for a website that deals with, it's actually an airport. Um, it's an organization working with the airports where they have their lodge, where you that you want to travel, you can come there and wait before the time, before your flight takes off. You are there, they are able to help you monitor your tickets, your time of flight and everything. They can come and pick you from your home and bring you to that place, to the lounge. They come pick you from home, bring you to the lounge and help you with your travels, your check-in process and everything. You will just be comfortable. They will do all those process. You understand? That is their aim. And that is part of the process of a product designer, where we know that people want to travel. You have to leave home, try to make it to the airport, beat traffic. Is it that you book a cab or someone is driving you? You get to the airport, wait for your time, you check in and all that. So they are the one that is going to help you do all of that. That is them looking at a problem that people are facing and coming up with a solution to it. So that is part of the user experience process. Now, this is the home page, where when they get there, this is what they are expected to see on the home page. Navigation bar, awareness, packages, testimonials, booking option. Do you understand? This is the onboarding process. You are expected to log in or sign up. If you log in, right, it takes you straight and shows you the packages they have. Okay, all this process like this is user experience process. That is the is more or less like the back end, where you do your rough work, where you do the is more or less like the skeletal system of the application. Is more or less like the skeletal system of the application. So what your user now come forward and see what they appreciate is the UI. That's the first thing they see. And that is the thing that is actually going to hold them down, because as much as UI is very important, UX is also as important as UI is. The idea is not just for them to come and see an application that is very, very beautiful. If the application is beautiful and is not functional, nobody's going to use it. Nobody's going to use it. I believe all of us here are actually, we should have some experience with our school websites. If we've gone to, excuse me, if we attended Lagos higher institutions or Nigerian institutions before tech actually became something in vogue. You see, my school website then, it looks like Punch newspaper. No offense. My school website was so bad. I've not even checked it of recent, but it was really, really bad. Where the way the words on Punch newspaper are clustered, that's the same way everything is clustered, and everything are links. You see messages, you see links, it is just so clustered. You don't know what to do. You have to go to a cafe, meet someone that is already used to the system to be able to perform anything you want to perform on the website. That is how bad the UI was, and they had terrible user experience. But that was before tech came in vogue, you understand? But right now that you have tech in vogue, you have everything on ground. You have everything on ground, right? You see that people pay more attention to the design process, just to make sure that as much as what we are trying to do is standing out, it must actually perform the function which we want it to stand out, which we are creating it for, rather. I don't know why this is taking too much time to load. Okay. All right. This is subscription. Okay. So here we have a website being designed. This website is designed with the aim of pet lovers being able to reach out to vets, being able to buy whatever pets they want, dog, cats, being able to call for treatment, being able to shop for what their pet needs. probably your pet food, your litter box, and the likes, right? Now, this is what your user sees when they log into or when they come onto your web page. You have this, the nav bar, the navigation bar. This is the logo of the establishment. Now you have these links, these hyperlinks where you have the home, the about, the shop, the contact. We are familiar with this kind of interface because I'm sure we use multiple websites. We have used multiple websites for things before. This right here is your user interface. This button, this button, this text, everything you're seeing right here is what we call the user interface. This is what your user sees. Now, as much as this is important, as much as this is so important to hold down your clients, as much as it's so important to hold down your users, where they look at it and they're like, oh, this is beautiful. Let me wait a little longer and see what else they have to offer. Right? Then they are now able to scroll down and look, okay, what else are they doing? You can get your puppies, you understand? So as much as all this are important, your user interface is important to hold down your client. The user experience is also as important. Let's say, for instance, now, okay, this is the landing page, right? This is the about us. Now, let's say, for instance, your user clicks on shop now. And when your user clicked on shop now, instead of it to take your user straight to this page right here, where you have the list of things that you have in store, is now taking you to the about us page. You click on shop now, it's supposed to take you to the shop section. It's not taking you to the about us section. That is a wrong user experience. You yourself will be confused. What did I press? What button did I press? What action did I request it to perform? What action is it performing? Right? Or you click on your shop now and it's taking longer time to load, or you click on your shop now and it's giving you a very, very poor user interface, or you're going through the shop now process and it's not even completing, like it's not giving you a seamless process. You get tired, you leave the application. And even if they tell you that maybe your friend later tried the app and it's like they've made adjustment or they've made updates to the application, you yourself will be reluctant to try it again because the user experience you've had at the first time is not good at all. It's nothing to write home about. So you wouldn't even want to try it, except you are like, okay, let me just give them a benefit of doubt. So that is how important user experience is. That is the difference. User interface is what your user sees, while user experience is the back. Sorry, pardon me for using Yoruba. User experience is the backstage, what you're doing backstage, the process, the work you put in. Now are examples of user experience process. They are part of design process, right? But they are part of what you as a user experience designer have to pay attention to. Because if you go out and look at if you go on LinkedIn now and check some jobs, you see that some people put out vacancy for UI UX. Some people put out vacancy for product designers. Some people put out vacancy for UI designers. While some people put out vacancies for UX or UX designers. And you as a UI UX product designer, you are being given the responsibility of all those roles. And that is why you need to understand what makes you stand out from other designers. Some people have a misconception about it and say it's not really different from graphic design. It's totally different. Yes, graphic design can be a part of your product design, but it's going to be a very, very small part of product design. Because yes, you need some graphic designs in your work as a product designer, but it's just going to be a very small part. Do we understand the explanation I've given, or you need another example? Okay. Ada, do you? Okay. All right. So now look at just like the analogy here. It says UX is the skeleton and muscle of a body, while UI is the skin and clothes. Do we understand? UX is the skeleton and muscle. It is what you do at the back end. It is your work. It is the arrangement, the alignment, it's the user flow, the process of how everything is going to be. Okay, you want to book a ride, you go on to you open your application, you search for you input your destination, right? If your location is set already, it picks your location as the starting point. Then you set your destination. Then it looks for a driver for you. After it gets you the driver, you are able to chat with the driver or you're able to call the driver. Then the driver is able to locate you using the Google map because your location has been set. All those thinking, that process of you sitting down and thinking about it, that okay, this is what I want them to do first. This is what I want my user to see first when they log into the application. This is after they perform this step. This is the next step I want them to follow. This is the next thing I want to do until they complete the function they came on the application to complete. That is your user experience process. That is what is involved or what you see packed in user experience. So now, who is a product designer? You see, this is part of what I was telling you, right? That you see some job function asking for UX researcher, UI designer, and the likes. But all this right here is the responsibility of a product designer. You are a UI UX product designer. You have a lot of things to do. You are not just into UI design. You are not just about the looks and feel of what the website or application is going to look like. You are also about the experience your user have after using your application, right? Now, your responsibility as a product designer is you must know how to conduct user research. You must have a good understanding and knowledge of UI design. You must have a good understanding of interaction design. You must have a good understanding of prototyping, problem solving, and business thinking. As much as all this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as much as it is very, very important to the user, you see this last one is also as important as every other one. Because your stakeholders that are giving you a project to handle, those your stakeholders also are in business. They are in the market to make profit. So as much as you're solving problem of your users, you are also you are also um you're also satisfying. As much as you're satisfying your users, you're also satisfying your stakeholders or your boss, wherever you are able to get a job. Probably you're a freelancer or you work in a team or an organization. You are also expected to satisfy that organization. That is the work of a product designer. That is your responsibility as a product designer. So you have a lot of things on your head, and all this becomes interesting when you are able to resonate with this and you're able to see it as an extension of yourself. You're able to see it as a real life experience. You're able to attach it to things you see every day. Let me tell you something. Yeah, when I came into product design and I started learning, I had a boss. The man is a perfectionist, right? After working for him for a while, I I inculcated this habit that whenever I go out, I'm not an architect, too, but I look at houses. Excuse me. I look at houses and I try to look for how that house could have been designed better. I look at the color used in painting the house. I look at how the window is being designed. I look at the finishing touches of the house. You understand? I try to look for lapses, and right, I'm not trying to spoil whatever work the architect have done, right? But within me, I'm trying to look for a better way, that if I had the opportunity, this and this and this is what I would have done to this house to make it actually stand out, to make it look better. Because if I am paying for a service, I believe I should be given the best service, because I am paying for that service, right? So you as a product designer, you need to understand that whatever you're doing has to be very, very good. You need to make your research. You need to know how to go along with your design. You need to know how your design are going to be, how your screens are going to be interacting, your prototyping process, your problem solving skills. These are things that, and as an individual, you need to have them. It's not just about saying, okay, this is when I get into product design, I have to understand problem solving skill. No, you as a person, you need to know problem solving skill, because it is an attribute you need for your day-to-day activity. Say you wake up in the morning and, okay, I need to perform this, I need to perform this, I need to perform this. Okay, how do I do it? Okay, let me get here first. Let me do this one next. Let me do this one next. At 12 o'clock, I'll leave the house. I'll go to Suzu place. That is an idea. That's an example of problem solving skill. So you bringing that, your problem solving skill, into product design is what makes you stand out. Because trust me, as a designer, everything you will be doing is just the same thing you do every day. It's the same thing you do every single day. The only difference is that you are now channeling all those attributes that you have, that you never knew you have. Those things that you do that you never knew you actually do, because they just come as reflexes. Those things you look at and pay attention to, that those things you see regularly that you don't really pay attention to. It is now you paying attention to them and now bringing them together to create a personality of your own. That is what makes this job very, very easy, because it's what you do every day, it's what you see every day, right? So all these things, all these points, we will be taking them one by one in our subsequent classes, because believe me, as small as they look, they are quite voluminous. And me saying voluminous, I'm not trying to make you scared, but I just want you to understand that me saying it's voluminous is that you need to understand the basics, so that it will be easy for you to now link your day-to-day activity life with all of this to now make you stand out. Okay, so a product designer focus on solving the right problem for the right users while meeting business goals. This is what I was telling you about. So as much as you're trying to satisfy your users, you also have the responsibility of making sure your clients, or your stakeholders, or the organization you're working for is actually benefiting from whatever you're doing. Now, benefiting monetarily, then benefiting monetarily is also dependent on the kind of products, on the kind of outcome your work is given. If you are designing a product that is not looking good, if you are designing a product that is not satisfying your user needs, I'm sorry, you can't hold down any user, and you can't have new users. You won't have returning users. You won't even have new users. Nobody will be willing to try your application. Nobody will be willing to try your application. Do you understand? I'm sure we all have had an experience whereby we've used something before, and you're like, no, I don't think I'll be using this thing again. I really don't want to. And you won't even want to complete the process, because it's just so irritating. I have a lot of applications I tried using, because I was trying to solve a problem last 2 weeks. And I said, okay, let me try some new applications. There were some applications that I was trying to create a fillable form, just so you people can follow up. I was trying to create a fillable form. Now, a fillable form is like a questionnaire where, in PDF format, your users, or the people you are asking questions, can actually type in their response on it. They can have the option of a drop down button where you can actually select your response. So that is an example of a fillable form. So I was trying to create that, and I had a list of softwares I could use. I have a list of platforms I could use to actually achieve that here. And I started checking the first one, the second one, the third one, and it was so irritating. I just kept going around the bush. I just kept beating around the bush.
Am I the only one not hearing the presenter again?
No, I guess network. I think his
You're
network
not
is
the only
bad
one.
or something.
I think his network is bad. Can't hear him too.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Oh
Yes,
yes,
we
welcome
can
back.
hear you.
Welcome back. Yeah.
I didn't even know I had left. Wow, the network was really bad. Can anyone tell me where I was so I can actually continue from there?
I think you were saying something about using some applications last 2 weeks.
Oh, yes. So if someone comes to me and now asks that, okay, I want to perform this, um, I want to perform this task, what application can I use for it? I would only refer you to the one that was able to satisfy what I wanted, the one that was actually able to, where I was able to complete the process I wanted to complete. That I was able to carry out the function of what I wanted to carry out. Okay, so going back to, okay, now can we see my screen now? Okay, so introduction to design thinking. Introduction to design thinking. As a product designer, design thinking is part of, and also it is not just part of the design process. It is also part of the most important of the design process, because without the design thinking, you won't be able to you won't be able to solve any, so you won't be able to solve any problem. You won't be able to come up with any solution. You won't be able to get to your users. So design thinking is a human-centered process used by designers to solve complex problems. Simple. Is a human-centered process. You guys should pay attention to this word, human-centered. because whatever you will be doing as a product designer revolves around this. Whatever you will be doing as a product designer revolve around this. And what does it mean? I want to create, I want to solve a problem. And that problem is a problem that humans face, is a problem that users face. So everything I'm doing has to be in line with what they can use, what is going to be easy for them to use, what is going to solve their problem, what is going to give them, relaxing vibe whenever they are using it. Human centered. Do we understand? Now, this design thinking process, you have 5 of them. Some people say it's 6. You get, some people say it's 6. And yes, the 6th one is a common. I'm going to, at the end of, after I explain this 5, I'll tell you what the 6th one is, and I'll explain what it's about. But the generally accepted one, or generally proclaimed, is 5. Where you have your empathize phase, your define phase, your ideate, you prototype, and you test. You empathize, you define, you ideate, you prototype, you test. You empathize is where you understand your user needs. Your define phase is where you clearly state the problem. Your ideate is where you brainstorm possible solutions. Your prototype is where you create rough version of solutions. And your test is where you try solution and learn what works. Okay? So let's go into the empathize phase. The empathize phase is just like what it means, empathy, right? This is the first stage where designers seek to understand the users by observing, engaging, and immersing themselves in the user's experience. It involves techniques like interviews, shadowing, and empathy mapping to uncover user needs and pain points. So basically, what does it mean? It means you try to understand your user by observing your user, engaging your user. A user is having a problem. Someone comes to you, okay. Let's say, let me try to give an example that we all can resonate with. I believe we all have visited the hospital multiple times, and we've had the experience of how stressful it is to actually go to the hospital in Nigeria. It is very, very stressful. I don't know about you guys, but trust me, I really detest going to the hospital. You get, if I'm going to the hospital, I don't pray to be sick to go to the hospital, because the stress of going to the hospital will even make you more sick. So let's now say we know that when you go to the hospital, you have to wait, right? If the crowd is much, you have to pick a number, especially when you're not going to government hospital. Even if it's private, you will still wait, because you will still meet people there. So you pick a number, you wait for them to call your number. When they call your number, you do your vital signs, you check your BP, your temperature, your weight, and the likes, right? Then they ask you to sit down back. The fact that they called you to check your vital signs doesn't mean you are going in to see the doctor yet. It just means they are preparing you, right, for when the doctor is now free to actually attend to you. Because those people that came before you, they've also done their vital signs, and they are still waiting to see the doctor. So after that, you go inside to see your doctor. The doctor goes through his consultation process. You tell the doctor what you're going through. The doctor is like, okay. You know what? Let's do this. Let's run so test. Okay. The doctor writes out a list of tests for you to do, a couple of tests, and send you to the laboratory or the diagnosis center nearby. If you're lucky, the laboratory is going to be inside the hospital. If you're not lucky, the diagnosis center will be outside the hospital. You go there, you also meet crowd there. You have to wait. When they attend to you, they collect your sample. You have to wait for your results to come out. Results don't come out immediately. I've been to hospitals. They will tell you to wait for like 2 hours. right? You are seated for 2 hours. You are not doing anything. You're just on your phone trying to while away time. You are going back to the lab. Is he ready? Is he ready? I'm not feeling well. Is he ready? You get. So you get your results. You go back to the hospital. You still have to wait in line because other people that have gone to run their test have also come with their results and they are still on the line to see the doctor with the results. Now you go inside the doctor's office with your results when it's your turn. The doctor now prescribe drugs for you. Now there are still two steps. It still boils down to two options. It's either the doctor just tells you, oh yeah, go and get these drugs, it will work. Or the doctor tells you, go and get these drugs, bring it back, let me confirm before you can go to make sure that they gave you the right brand of the drug I prescribed for you. Now you will still have to wait in line again. Now look at that process I have described. I am sure all of us have experienced. If all of us have experienced this process, let us just send in an emoji. So I'm sure I'm not the only one that Nigeria has been unfair to in the medical in the medical field. Okay, okay. I see that we all are in this. We all are experiencing it. So now see that experience, right? Now see that experience. That is a problem. We are now sitting down and looking at it that okay, this is the pain that we go through in going to the hospital. That is the empathize phase. That is the process of empathizing during your design thinking process. That is you feeling your user's pain that they are not just saying it. I actually understand it. Because if you don't understand the pain, you won't be able to solve it. You won't be able to solve the problem. You won't be able to give a solution to it. If you don't carefully understand or properly understand what they are going through or what they are trying to tell you, you can't find a solution to it. Okay? I want to recharge prepaid. IKEDC is killing us with charges, right? If you're recharging with, I think if you do the calculation, 1,000 naira is 4.4 units for those that are using band A. That is outrageous. Now imagine somebody that doesn't have money and say, okay, I want to do just small lights. Maybe it's 3 hours I want to use at home. Let me just do maybe 500 naira home. And you're now trying to do 500 naira lights, and your mobile banking application is telling you it's not possible because it is not part of it is below the limit. I think there was a time that the limit for OPay was 1,100 with charges. That's for your lights, for your band A electricity tariff and all that. So now imagine someone that now say, okay, let me just do 500 naira to manage. Person is not able to do it. So if you truly understand that okay, we are creating this products for the general public, for the masses, then they should be able to have access to the list of the features. Like this thing should be able to solve their problem completely. So that's your empathize phase, right? You observe, you engage, you immerse yourself in the user's experience. Okay, look at the way I took you through my experience in the health sector. Now, the reason why I'm able to explain it to you properly is because I've been in the medical field, right? And I see patients coming. I see what they go through. I am there every day for years, so I understand what they feel. I understand their pain. Now I am explaining the process to you. You are able to follow through. You are able to. I'm able to carry you along because I actually understand the pain. That is the empathize phase. You actually try to understand your user's pain. You actually try to understand what they see, what they go through whenever they try to perform a particular function. Do we actually understand this? Do we understand the empathize phase? Let us drop emojis. Okay. If you have question, please let us know. Let us know. So it's not going to It's not going to get too cumbersome and confusing. So if you have any question, let us know. I can see your emojis. I see you guys are following. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Don't worry, you guys are on your journey to being top user designers. You guys are on the journey to being top user designers, and I believe you guys are actually going to stand out when you complete your class. Victor, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
Yes, I wanted you to recap on the types of uh, designs that you were trying to point out for us. I wanted to catch it then. It was slipped off my network. So I want
Oh,
you to just
what
go
type of
back and
design? What type of design? Is it the
explain.
difference between UI and UX?
No, no, like from the empathize, the list of designs that you're talking about currently. I want to know the list because empathize is the one you just finished discussing about. So I
Yes,
wanted to
yes.
catch up with them.
Is Oh,
I'll
okay.
write
That is the
them.
design. Oh, okay. That's the design thinking process, right? You have the
So,
empathize, the define, the ideate, the prototype, and your test. So it's just the design thinking process. The process of how you want to start a project. This is the process you have to follow for you to be able to complete your project. This is everything you do from the start of the project to the end of the project. So you have the empathize, the define phase, the ideate phase, the prototype phase, and your test phase. Those that have number 6, they call the number 6 iterate. Iterate. And what iterate means is after you've completely gone through this process, you've designed it, you've tested it. That test, when you give people to test whatever you've done, you're expecting feedback. That feedback, you now take that feedback and go back into your design to make improvements. That is what they call iteration. You understand? So that's number 6. And that one is expected even without listing it. You know that after you've completed whatever you're doing and you test and they give you feedback, you're supposed to go back into whatever you've done to make improvements. So the empathize, the first stage where designers seek to understand the users by observing, engaging, and immersing themselves in the user experience. It involves techniques like interview, shadowing, and empathy mapping to uncover user needs. So all these things we are still going to go into it in details in our subsequent classes, right? It's just going to show you how to go about your empathize phase, the things to do, the tools to use, the materials to work with to go about your empathize phase. Okay. Now, going into the next one, we have the define phase. The define phase. So here, designers synthesize the research findings to clearly articulate the core problem. This results in a problem statement or point of view that focuses on a specific user need. This stage sets the direction for ideation. Your define. The define phase is also the same thing as what the word means to define. That is the same meaning it has. Okay, I'm able to empathize with my users now. I've done user interview. They've written. Let's even imagine that. Okay, I don't know anything about the pain they are going through. Okay, and they come to me and tell me this is the pain. Blah blah blah. I want to create a solution for so problem. So I conduct my user interview during the empathize phase. Conduct my user interview. And user interviews, you can use questionnaires like Google Forms and the likes. Okay. After conducting my user interview, I get my feedback. I've seen the results of everything my users have filled. And I want to sit down and define what what they have explained. I have to sit down and define so I can actually understand it properly. Do we get? So the process is for you to conduct your user interview, empathize with them, know what they are talking about, then you define it. Because if you can't define it, you can't find a solution to it. It's a different thing for you to understand something, and it's a different thing for you to actually understand and be able to explain it. Once you are able to explain it, it means you've defined it. Once you've understood it and you're able to explain it, it means you have actually defined it. Do we get? So that defining is something you have to work on. It's something you have to do on your own. Like, okay, my users say they go to the hospital and go through pain, trying to see the doctor, and this, that. Okay, I am able to understand that this is the pain they go through. They spend minimum of 5 hours in the hospital just because they want to run tests. And at the end of the day, doctor might not prescribe any major drugs. Some people will just go with paracetamol prescription. Do you understand? So those are pain points from your users. That is the process of you defining their pain points. So once you're able to define it, it now leads you to the next phase of your design process. Right? The next phase is now the ideate, which is where the work is being done. The ideate is where the work is being done. You see it here. It said, with a clear understanding of the problem, designers begin brainstorming a wide range of creative ideas and potential solutions. No idea is too wild in this stage. Techniques like mind mapping is being used. Okay? Look at this. It says no idea is too wild. No idea at all is too wild. Because this is where you now actually come up with ideas that at the beginning you might think might sound stupid, but at the end of it all, you now realize that that idea is even what finally solves the problem. Okay? So the ideate phase is where you now sit down and you begin to think, where you bring up your problem solving skill, like I spoke about earlier in, let me see, yeah, right here, your problem solving skill. That is where you now put it to work, you put it to task in your ideate phase. You now start to sit down and think, okay, oh, people are going through this stress. Let me imagine I'm the one going through that stress. What is the first thing I would want to have access to? Let me see. If I'm going to a private hospital, maybe I believe I'll be spending lesser time. But trust me, private hospital are also packed. Okay, what else can I do? What if I have the doctor's number and I can just call the doctor directly and talk? But how do I get the doctor's number? They will not give me their phone number. It is against their ethical practice. What else can be done? Let's see. What if the hospital have an application? Or what if the hospital have a website where I can actually go online, right? And book an appointment with the doctor for a consultation, for my consultation, an appointment. Okay, if that is possible, there are going to be many people that would also want to do that. It means they will need many doctors. What else can be done? What if I go online and I go on the website and I'm trying to, reach out to a doctor and the doctor is busy? How do I actually know that the doctor is busy? Would the connection be lost, or would it keep will it keep processing the way Uber process when you've not seen a rider yet, or the connection just gets cut off? How do I work with that? Would I be able to speak with the health practitioner, the doctor, via normal call, or via voice WhatsApp voice call, or via internet call? All those things I'm saying is the ideate phase. That is my problem solving skill. The process of me trying to come up with ideas. Okay, what else can be done? Let's assume the hospital have their website. I'm able to go on their website and book an appointment. Once I book the appointment, maybe they book the appointment for me. Today is Saturday. They book my appointment for Sunday afternoon by 12, right? After I book my appointment, I am able to I am able to come up with the list of things the list of my symptoms, right? Just so that I don't forget any of them. I try to list them down somewhere, and I'm able to speak with the doctor. The doctor is able to prescribe or send me for tests, have his diagnosis and send me for tests. After sending me for tests, which diagnostic center would I be going to? Which laboratory would I visit? Would I have to go to the hospital to run the test in their laboratory if they have a laboratory? Or I go to a diagnosis center around me? And what is the assurance that the doctor is going to approve that diagnosis center around me? Okay, when I'm done with that, would I have to take my results to the doctor in the hospital, or I'm going to be able to upload my results on that website where the doctor can now review my results and give me a prescription that is actually going to cure whatever signs and symptoms I'm experiencing. Now, after giving me that prescription, am I allowed to buy from any pharmacy around me, or I have to go to a particular specified pharmacy by the hospital on their website, or by that doctor particularly, or I have to go to that hospital to go and buy the drugs from their own pharmacy if they have a pharmacy? That is the idea. That is the process of coming up with ideas. Are we following? Show me some thumbs up, show me some emoji. Are we following? Okay. If you have any question, you can just raise your hand and I'll attend to it. So that is the process of ideating, sitting down, coming up with wild imaginations. See, as a product designer, you see, the mind of a child is the kind of mind you need to have. Because trust me, this is no different from 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 Dora the Explorer. Pardon me to use that comparison. But the reason why I'm saying that is because you need to be very you need to be very imaginative. You need to be very imaginative. Because at the end of the day, you now realize that imagination you have that sounds so stupid can now be implemented, right, in a more mature way, and you now find out that so this thing even works. See, as a product designer, I will tell you, I get most of my design ideas from children. That's why I always try to. I watch cartoons. I watch cartoons a lot. I watch cartoons a lot, and there I am able to see things. I'm able to see some design, because trust me, cartoons are the only places, or they are the only videos you will watch where there is no limitation to what their imaginations can give. There is no limitation. They go all out. They show you what doesn't make sense at all. You see things that doesn't make sense. But can you now sit down and look at that nonsense and rebrand it and actually make it make sense? Do you understand? Make it make sense. So you need an imaginative mind. You need a very strong imaginative mind, so you can actually do something good, so that your design can actually stand out. Because as much as you are a designer, the next designer beside you is also trying to beat you at your game. And everybody is going to be good at one part or the other. So whatever you do, you are not competing with the next person beside you. You're just competing with yourself. You're trying to make your design better. You're trying to make your design stand out. You're trying to put out your design, and people are like, wow, where did this person actually get this inspiration from? And another thing you need to understand, even during your ideate phase, is that no one is an island of knowledge. You can get inspirations from fellow designers. You can get inspiration from multiple platforms. You can get inspiration anywhere. You can get inspiration anywhere. You can just come up when you are having that, when you've solved and you've had the problem. You can just just walk out of your house and take a stroll, and you will see your solution right in front of you, outside on the street. There is something I do whenever I have a project. There's something I do, right? I have my time frame to work on my project. Believe me, I take nothing less than 3 weeks to actually go through all these processes. Nothing less than 3 weeks. And do you know why? After I think about everything, I now drop my laptop. I drop my pen and paper. Then I step outside. Mostly evening walks. I do evening walks. Then I go out. I just, just go around my estate and try to see what's up. And right, and most times I go with my AirPods, so I'm always on my music. The process of me trying to clear my head, me listening to music and taking a walk, my head is calm, my head is clear. The next thing I say, I just have an idea straight up. Why not try this way? And believe me, immediately I get that idea, I open my phone, write it down in my notes, and I get home and try to implement it. And I realize that that is even the solution I've been looking for since. Or that is the design I've been trying to come up with. So that is why I told you that your responsibility as a product designer, you are not a computer, you are not a machine, you are human. So your day-to-day activities can actually be inculcated to your responsibility as a product designer because it's what you do every day already. You don't just know. You've not just paid attention to it. So do we understand this ideate phase? If you have questions, you can raise up your hand. If you understand, you can drop emojis. Let us see we are following up. Let us see we are on the same page. Okay, I like that. We're actually following. So, on to the next. We have the prototype. So here it says designers select a few promising ideas and create simple, inexpensive versions of them. These can be paper sketches, wireframes, or interactive digital mockups. The goal is to visualize and test the concept quickly. Now, this is after your ideate phase, which is the next thing you go into, prototype. We have three types. When you go into your prototype, you now have to sketch a wireframe, right? You have to sketch a wireframe. Your wireframe is now an example of what your final product is going to look like. We have three types of wireframe. You have the low fidelity wireframe, the mid fidelity wireframe, and the high fidelity wireframe. We will go into that in our subsequent classes where you will understand that properly and you know the difference between them. So right here it says paper sketches. Trust me, everything you're doing as a product designer is not only on the system. You need to have your jotter and your book because sometimes ideas come from anywhere, from any angle. So you need to be active. You need to be ready to jot anything down. You need to be ready to sketch anything, right? So when you're talking about your paper sketches, I think there was one where I have okay. Uh, yeah, I think it should be this one. Aspray Yield speaking. So, talking about your paper sketch, you need to draft out things. Okay. So this application I'm using right now is what you would also be using. It is widely used. Okay, it's widely used. It's Figma. It's called Figma, and that is what you use for all these processes I've been talking about. It performs all that function. So that is what you use as a product designer. We have other applications. We have Adobe XD. We have Adobe Photoshop. We have Miro, Figma. So those are various applications you use, but this is one you use generally, and it actually works perfectly. So look at this. This is a rough sketch. Don't mind the handwriting. That's why I said it's a rough sketch. It's very, very rough. So this is a sketch, an example of what I wanted the screen to look like. This is the screen, mobile screen, right? You have the logo of the organization, the logo of the application. You have your email, your password, your login button, or sign up using Google, sign up using what else is always there. But I'm sure you guys are familiar with this kind of login setup. Okay, now this is the onboarding process, and so this is what the wire sketch, the paper sketch is expected to look like. It is not expected to be fine. You are not doing art and crafts for anybody. Nobody is marking your user your sketch. You are not doing art and crafts. Nobody is giving you mark that okay, your paper sketch is 9/10. Nobody is interested in that. Your user sketch, your paper sketch rather, is for you. It is just you to just come and scribble. Just write anything that comes to your mind, anything you think, any way you imagine the screen to look like. Okay. And another thing you need to understand as a designer is that as much as you're coming up with your own design, you need to make sure that your design is following existing design principles. Let me give you an example to that. Say, we all know the way cars look like. We have 2 doors, we have 4 doors. So let's take, for example, the 4 doors car. You are making a car for the general public. You know that the handle of the car is supposed to be where the handle of the car is. We all know that is where it's supposed to be. Now imagine someone now come up, or okay, we have Innocent Nigerian cars. They now say, okay, they want to make a unique car for the general public. It's going to be very, very affordable. No wala, we are ready. They now say, okay, we want to solve the problem of people not being able to afford new cars. So we are going to give them a payment plan of paying installments. No wala, we are good. No, everybody like better thing. You understand? Let's go ahead. The next thing, you now realize that they now come up with a design whereby the handle of the car is not where it is or where it's expected to be. The handle to open the car is, maybe there's a button. They now put the button on the bonnet of the car, or they put the button on the windscreen of the car. Let me give a perfect example. Look at the Tesla. The Tesla is being opened with a key card. That key card is being placed at the door, the side panel of the door, right? Somewhat towards where the glass is, the windscreen is on the door. That is a luxury car. That is a luxury car. They have the flexibility of coming up with weird designs because they tell you this is not for the masses. You understand? If you look at most of those luxury cars, some of them, you see them, their doors open up like wings. They don't open the way the regular car doors open. They have the flexibility because it is not for the masses. It is for a selected few. You that have that amount of money to afford a luxury car, you have that amount of time, to look for where the key card is or where the door is. Do you understand? So if you are now coming up with a design for the general public, you should be able to follow already existing design principles. Because trust me, if I'm seeing if I'm going to the car lot to pick up a brand new car, and you're telling me this car is very, very affordable and I can pay installments, and you're now telling me that the button to open the door of the car is on the windscreen at the front, or on the bonnet of the car, or at the boot of the car, or is under the car. Me that I know it, I can say, okay, well, maybe I can manage that stress. But imagine I want to go and pick up my friend. We are going to a party at night, or we are going to the club. I'm in the car at night. I have gotten to where I want to pick up my friend. My friend has not entered my car before. And now, oh yeah, come inside the car, let's be going. My friend is now looking for the button to open the door. So are you now telling him that I will now start explaining, oh yeah, look that side, look, oh no, under the car, bend down, then I dare the button there. No, I'm sorry, I can't go through that stress. Or you expect me that I'm already in the car seated, you now expect me to come down from the car and come out? No, I'm not your chauffeur. I'm not your Uber driver. You open the door yourself. So I won't buy the car because I know I'll go through stress trying to get people to come into the car. So it doesn't make sense. But when I'm driving a luxury car, I know I'm not carrying crowd. It's just me and whosoever I'm going with. Most times it's even going to be just you. You get. So that one, they have the flexibility of coming up with weird design, and the weird designs has limitations also. That is why Tesla cannot put the key card on the bonnet of the car. He cannot put it under the car. It's still going to be on the car door. Do you understand? So all these things, you need to understand them when coming up with your designs. That is why I told you, I believe that with all these explanations I'm giving you, you can now see that UI UX design is your everyday thing, is what you see, is what you go by every day. You've not just paid attention to it. And that is why UI UX is very, very interesting, because it is something you can sit down and just sit down outside your house, or stand outside your house, or sit at the balcony, and you can just look at things and come up with ideas. Just resonate with your environment. Okay, let's assume I was one who designed this. I think this could have been designed better. I think this thing should have a more cleaner finishing. That is what makes you stand out as a user, as a product designer. I am telling you all these points because when you start working, you see, most people teach product design and they won't inculcate these basic things from scratch. So when you now learn product design finish, you now have to start to learn these basic things again. But me, I'm telling you this from scratch so that it is going to be in your foundation. So that it's going to be a reflex understanding. It's just like somebody waking you up and asking you what's your name. You don't have to think about it. It is there. Your reflex will respond. You don't have to think about your name. That is how some habits or attitude to designs should be. It should be something that you don't even need to think about it. It's just, you just know that, okay, this and this are things that I should follow. There are steps that must be taken, steps that must be put in place. Do we understand? If you have any question, we can raise up our hands and I'll give answers to the question. Okay. I see we are all on the same page. We are all following up. So that is an example. I showed the example of the wireframe sketch. This is the paper sketch. Then right here you have your low fidelity wireframe. You see that this one is more fine than the paper sketch. So low fidelity wireframe is what you include in your design. Most times what you have working with some clients, you might be, because I've worked with, I remember I handled a project with Custodian PLC one time, and when I started designing, the only thing they asked me for was, okay, I want to see your low fidelity wireframe. These people are not design people. Oh. They are not design people. These people they are into finance and insurance and the likes. But they were asking for my low fidelity wireframe. So if you don't know how to do all these things, not all clients will ask for your wireframe. Okay? Not all clients wants to know what you did at the back end. Not all clients wants to know what you went through. But trust me, some clients are demanding and they will ask to see your wireframe. And the reason behind that is because they want to know that you truly understand the responsibility that has been given to you. You truly understand that project. You truly understand what they want you to do on that project. Okay? So you have this, your low fidelity wireframe. Okay? And we have the mid fidelity wireframe and the high fidelity wireframe. So the high fidelity wireframe is this. Oh, you can see, you can actually see this very well. Okay, let me show you this. I think I've used this one as an example for you before. So yes. Okay. So this is an example of the high fidelity wireframe. High fidelity wireframe basically is just the finished product of everything you've done. You get. So this is it here. This is for a mobile view. This is your high fidelity wireframe. Basically the finished product of everything you've done. Okay. So that is your prototype, where you now come up with screens. You now come up with ideas that, okay, on this screen, okay, let me go back to that example. Okay, on the home screen, this is what I want them to have. Okay, now look at this, right? This is the mobile interface. Look at the desktop interface of your landing page. Look at what it looks like. You have a long nav bar. You have this here by the left. You have the dog by the right. You have your call to action button. You have two buttons here. Okay. Now look at the mobile interface. Look at how it's being designed. You have your nav bar here. This is your menu button, right? This is where the dog, the pet that was on the right now is at the center. This text that was on the left now is at the center below the pet. Now you have your call to action button. Do you understand? So all these things is what you now do in your prototyping phase. Now, okay, well, this is what I want the web version to look like. This is what I want the mobile version to look like. This is what I want. And okay, now take for instance, you come on this application now, and this shop now that is here is not here, is up here. You understand? You just come on this application and it's not, you don't have this hero text. Get your new, another thing you need to understand when designing is that I said this first, the first your users have should be something that they can understand the motive of that software or that solution, and can hold them down. They need to understand why they're on that platform. I don't have to start scrolling down. What is this platform for? What does it do? Once you come on the platform, you see the name Pet Hub. Okay, it talks about pets. Okay, what do? Do they only, is it just for treatment of your pets? Is it that you just come like a vet service, or is it just for you to shop, or is it just for you to? Well, here you can see it. It says, get your new furry family member today. Discover the joy of pet adoption and change their life, helping rescue animals find their forever homes. Simple. You coming on here, you see that it talks about you adopting a pet. It talks about you having access to a pet. And look at the screen. It is calm. Yes, this face might be scary somehow or might be funny somehow. You understand? But at least you understand that it is not just a platform for dogs. Because here you're seeing dog, here you're seeing rabbit. So it tells you that automatically it spans across a wide range of animals. So it's not just your security pets. You can also have your furry pets, your parrots and the likes. You understand? So it sends the information. It passes the message. Then you now have your button. So if I'm coming on an application and the shop now is the first thing I'm seeing up, what am I shopping for? I don't know what I'm shopping for. Why is shop now being the first call to action I'm seeing? Why is shop now being the first information I'm getting? It doesn't follow. So that is a poor user experience. That is a waste of my time as a user. Okay. So it says designers select a few promising ideas and create simple, inexpensive versions as prototypes of them. This can be paper sketches, wireframes, or interactive digital mockups. So all these things, these three is what I've shown you, what I just finished showing you. The goal is to visualize and test the concept quickly. Do we understand? Before I go to the next. Okay. If we have any question, we can raise up our hands. Any question? No question. Maybe you are following. I like that. I like that. This is a very, very interesting class, because the fact that you guys are actually following up and you're able to understand this is actually is encouraging. It's really good. I would like to go online some other time and see you guys work, out there, and I'm like, wow, so these guys are actually products of TechBuddies, and they're actually doing really, really good. Because I see you guys are paying attention and you are really understanding the process. Okay. So the last phase is the test phase. Your prototypes are tested with real users to gather feedback. This stage helps identify what works, what doesn't work, and what needs to be improved. Insights gained here often lead to revisiting earlier stages for refinement. You see this process of revisiting earlier stages for refinement. Is that is what we talk about when we say the iterating stage. Because if you remember vividly, I told you that right here, okay, where we have 5 processes during design thinking. Some people say it is 6. So the number 6 used to be iterating, but that iterating is still part of the test process. You get, some people just bring it out. So it is just the idea, it is just the process of you. It is just the process of you, right? After testing what you've worked on, just going back with the feedback you have and making adjustments. So the test phase, what you've designed are being tested with real users to gather feedback. Look at it, what you've done, if it works, let your users try it, not you. Because if you are trying it, you will be emotional with it because it's something you have worked on, spent hours, you've spent days, you've spent weeks, even months on that project. So you might be emotional if something doesn't work. You'll be like, let me leave it. Let me manage it like that. But your user is going to be blunt with you because they don't know you. They don't know what you've gone through. They don't know the stress you put into it. Their own is to make sure that they are able to to perform or to complete whatever tasks they have actually come out to complete. So you need to meet out, you need to reach out to users. For example, I had a project I was working on, and I prepared my questionnaires and I carried out a user interview. I myself have thought about this solution and seen it to be a very perfect solution. But you'll be surprised that when I asked users, I got a 50-50 response. Some people said they prefer the old method, that they don't need any updates. They don't need an easier way to. And these people I'm telling you, I'm not even right now. I'm not talking about people that are outdated. I'm not talking about old people. I'm talking about people in full right now. I'm talking about socialites, right? I sent the questionnaire to them and I found out that not everybody was ready for that transition. Now imagine me now going ahead and performing that and carrying out that project. It means I won't get my required results. Yes, my product is going to be out there. Few people are going to use it, but I will not reach out to as much people as I want to because mentally people are not prepared. They are not ready for that solution yet. And me now wanting to enforce that solution on them, if I want to do that, yes, there is a way around that, but I'm going to be spending more resources. Do you understand? I'm going to be spending more resources. So all this process as a designer, okay, all this process as a designer, yes. Let me see. So he said, is it safe to use focus groups in testing the solution? Yes, you can make use of focus groups while testing solutions. It's fine. It's fine. You understand? You can reach out to the general public. There are multiple ways of carrying out user interview. There are many ways. You can send out questionnaires. You can invite them, right? It can be a one-on-one interview. But another thing you need to pay attention to is that whenever you're conducting your user interview, you need to understand that for you to get sincere responses from your users, they need to be comfortable. They need to be sure that you are not expecting anything from them. They need to be sure that you are not looking for their favorism, you are not looking for their empathy. They don't need to feel for you. They just need to be blunt with their response. They need to be sincere. And most times, users are only able to do that in the comfort of their home. Not necessarily their home, but wherever they are comfortable, wherever they know that there's no eye monitoring them, there's nobody watching them, there's nobody expecting a particular response from them. When they don't know your mind, that is when your users are going to be blunt with you. That is when they are going to be sincere with um whatever response you're getting from your user interview, which is being carried out in the empathize phase that we talked about. So here you have your users test your 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 products. Now, even talking about testing, some people create better. Okay, I don't even need to say some people. We have all used better applications one time or the other. When ChatGPT came out, everybody had access to the beta version, right? Are we aware of that? Yes. So everybody had access to the beta version. That is a test phase. They won't tell you they are testing you. They won't tell you they are using it to test their products. They only tell you, we've created this, we want this to actually solve this problem. And they will write before that beta version is always boldly written. Right now, they just write it somewhere that is even almost impossible to see. So you won't even know you are carrying out a test. So they'll just write it there, beta version. They might be doing the onboarding process, they'll just write it the beta version. That is how some people will test. Some people go ahead doing usability testing. You understand? Some people, you have your stakeholders test it, then they have a particular customer, um, they have a customer base which whom they approach and they tell, okay, for so process that you've been trying to carry out, okay, we've created a software solution, or yeah, try this out and let me know what you think. Is it actually solving what you want? Is it actually giving you um the required solution? Okay, so all those are ways where people test what they've done. Okay, there are ways where people test the products they've come up with. So here you have design tools overview. You have your Figma, that is for user design and prototyping. You have your Adobe XD, similar to Figma. You have your Miro or FigJam for collaboration or whiteboarding. You have your Notion for the documentation and planning. So basically, as we all just coming into product design, I would want us all to download this Figma, because trust me, it is what you would use to actually perform all this process I've told you about. Okay, all the processes I've told you about is what you're going to use Figma for. I let me see. Okay, so you can see in Figma you have your design, you have your FigJam, you have your slides, your boards. So it actually gives us access to perform multiple functions. So if in FigJam you can collaborate with other designers, you come up with ideas. So this is basically an ideating phase. This is where you go ahead with coming up with ideas. You can for your user flow, you understand, come up with ideas, um onboarding, right? Then okay. So you have your onboarding, okay? You have your home or landing page, okay? From there, you have on the landing page, you have list of functions here. Then next, you want them to perform the transfer, right? Transfer, transfer money from one account to another. You get. So basically, these are things you can do on your FigJam. Okay, these are things you can work with on your FigJam. You have your marker, you draw things, you come up with ideas. You get. You can do your low fidelity wireframe if you want. Okay, you come up with that's in the process of prototyping. Okay, so here we want to have just like, okay, let's say we want to design a login screen. Okay, hope we are following, hope we are still together on this. Hope we okay, that's good. So let's say we want to design, okay, let's say we want to design our login page. We have our logo here, right? Then you now have this for your username or email. Okay, you now have this for your password. Nobody is expecting it to be smooth or clean. You understand? It's not art and crafts, just like I said before. Then you have your button here, your sign up or login button. Okay, then you have your sign up or login button here. Then you now have this where you have your or sign up with Google, sign up with Apple ID, excuse me, or sign up with Facebook or whatever. You understand? So basically, whosoever is opening this and seeing it is knowing that, okay, this is what we want to put here. Okay, your name, your password, that's your username or email, then your password. Okay, so whosoever is opening this is understanding that, okay, this is what I want my design phase, my login interface rather to look like. So these are things you use your FigJam for. And it is surprising, it will interest you to know that as I'm doing this right now, I can have my collaborator working on this same page while I am writing name here, username here. My collaborator can be writing password here at the same time. We can be coming up with. That is why you see most of these applications we are using for product design is one that allows the design process to be easy, where I don't need to be with my collaborator in the same place, but we can collaborate from a distance. The person I'm working with might be in Canada, and we are working on the same project at the same time. We are both coming up with ideas and both putting them on this same page at the same time. Do you understand? So we can have all this on FigJam, and all this is still under under all this is still under Figma. Do you understand? So I would want us to download. I want us to download Figma and just go to your Google and download figma.com. So we have the version for the web application. We have the mobile application, but that mobile application is not for designing. Okay, that mobile application is for testing your prototypes or just viewing what you've done. And so you can't edit as such. You can't work the way you work on your laptop. But the mobile version is it also gives you an opportunity to test what you've worked on. You get. So you check the prototype and they test it and actually does what a full-fledged app is actually expected to do after you prototype it. Do you understand? So this brings us to the wrap of today's class. And I wouldn't want to make everything so cumbersome for you guys because this is your first class. It is the first ever knowledge you have about product design. So I want you guys to be able to, go back and think about it, resonate, understand it better, right? So when we get to our next class, we are going to go deeper into, what we are talking about. We're going to go deeper into what is going to make you a product designer and things you need to know about product design. So today's the assignment for this week is for you to analyze two applications, one with a good user experience and one with a poor user experience. And this is where it's going to get interesting. You see, in our next class here, after going through the assignment and grading it, we will be showing, or better still, because I want everybody to get involved and I want it to be an hands-on. I want it to be a hands-on project where everybody's actually going to follow and everybody's going to understand. So it's not as if one person understands why an application is having a bad user experience and some other people in the class don't actually understand why. And they're just trying to say, I'll read up on it later. Trust me, you can read up on it later and actually understand. And you can read up on it later and not understand. Even you that might understand, it might now take you longer time to understand. Like, it can take you, okay, what do I mean by analyze? Yes, I just want you to go through, um, I just want you to go through two applications that you've used, you've had experience with, okay? And you bring them out. Okay, I've used OPay application and OPay is actually very, very good. I am able to complete whatever. Let me give you an example. And this is my example. You guys are not allowed to use it in the assignment. Should I give the example? Because it's an application that almost everybody is actually okay. All right. So looking at OPay, OPay is a very beautiful application. They have beautiful user interface. I will tell you that as a product designer. Yes, there might be some places where they can have some touch and all that, but they have beautiful user interface and beautiful user experience. Has anybody used Smart Cash application before? Does anybody here know Smart Cash? Okay. Oh, okay. Now let me tell you, Smart Cash is Airtel's mobile application. Smart Cash is Airtel mobile application. And I will tell you, as a designer, if I have the opportunity to talk to the person who designed Smart Cash, the person has to go back to the drawing board. I will tell you that. I'm not spoiling the person's work. Yes, the person has put a lot into it to actually get it out, in the market. But the user experience is not good. It's not good enough. I will tell you. I'm happy someone is resonating with what I'm saying. It is not good enough. The user interface is you see, as much as something is expected to look good. Now, Airtel's color is red. We all know. Okay? But when you are using too much red, it's going to for you guys to follow. Okay, you know what? Let me make it easy. Let me see if I can get Smart Cash mobile Smart Cash mobile app. Let me see if I can actually see an example and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is perfect. Yes. Okay. Okay, I think they've even made a little improvement. Okay. They made a little improvement to it. Now, let me see. I want to show you for those people that don't know what it looks like. Yeah. Let me show you what Smart Cache actually looks like. Do all of us have idea of what? Do all of us have idea of what? Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, can we see? Can we see my screen? I want us to actually unmute our mic. Everybody can unmute their mic now, but let's make sure our background is quiet so we can hear ourselves. Can we see? You can see what is displayed on my screen right now, Abby?
No, I can't see your screen now.
Yes, that's
Yes.
your screen.
I can see.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So this is what Smart Cache looks like. To me, I will tell you that this is too much red. This is too much red. Do you understand? This is a lot of red. If I'm bringing up this one, let me see if it's actually going to. It's not loading. It's taking me to their page. So if you see all this, right? This is not good enough. Yes, the person has tried. The person used a lot of icons, and let me see. I really want to bring out the image, right? So we can all see what it looks like exactly. Open image in new tab. Okay, let me see. Okay. It might not actually be very clear. Okay. Now, just take a rough look at this. Number one, it's too busy. You understand? It is too busy. Yes, they've reduced the red here. That is fine. You just have it up here. But it is still too busy. This is here, this is here, this is here, this is here. You understand? And this is even the one they've made improvements to. This is the application they've even made improvements to. So now imagine what it started was like. Because the first time I came on Smart Cache, I was like, no, this is really bad. For Airtel, that is a known brand, a big brand, why would they have something like this? Do we understand? So, and also I believe we all have experience to what what do they call it? OP looks like. If you have experience to what OP looks like, yes. So almost everybody will know what OP looks like. Look at how calm OP looks. Yes, their color is also assisting. Their color is also encouraging. You get. So as much as you need to know that you have to follow the brand guidelines when designing something. You also need to make use of your own imaginations. You get. You also need to know how to put this here, how to know where it should be and how much it should be. It's not a must to use red. Smart Cache, the way Smart Cache is, we know their design is red. It's not a must for them to just use only that red. You can use a shade of red in a particular place, which is going to reduce. Someone said they just opened the app. So everybody seeing it will realize that the red is too much. The red is too much. It's not a danger app. It is a mobile banking app. You understand? So I believe we all now have an understanding of what good UX is and poor UX. Do we? Okay. So that is the assignment. Bring two different applications. Let us know which has a better user experience and which has
Sorry,
a bad user
sorry.
experience.
Can I ask a question?
I'm a cheapest.
How are we going to run the analysis? Are we going to present it in a Word document, or is it going to be verbal, or how are we going to present it?
Okay. For I would actually have wanted everybody to present it verbally because I want to understand why you said the user experience is not good. Okay, but I would still want you guys to present, provide a Word document. Let us use Word first. Provide a Word document, right? Right. Let us know your experience. Why? Because I believe you'll be able to express yourself better verbally. Do you understand? This is something you're just starting. If I tell you, okay, I want you to write it down, you might not be able to express yourself properly on your Word document. But I'm sure your if you have the platform to actually talk and explain why this has a bad user experience, because it is your experience, it is what you used, it is what you felt while using the application. Do you understand? So I would want us to, you can have it in a Word document that will be submitted. Or you know what? Let me make it easy for everybody. Do we want if we want a Word document, let us raise our hands. 1 person, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Okay, just 6. Okay, 7. Impressive. Okay, just 7. So if we want verbally, yes, let's raise our hands. Okay, if we want verbally, let us drop emojis. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay. PDF. Okay, so we have 8 people raising their hands, and we have the rest going for verbal. So we are 30 in class. Okay, this is the way we are going to do it. Let us say we'll give everybody 2 minutes each to explain why. And this is what you're going to do, right? You're going to have a screenshot of that application. I don't know. I don't know if we all know how to do that, but okay. I want you guys to download your Figma. During the week, I want you guys to download your Figma. Just go on your Google and download Figma. Okay. So after downloading the Figma, I want you guys to sign up. Just sign up and create an account on your Figma. Now, PDF. Well, you can come up with your PDF. But I want everybody. This is what we are going to do to make it easy. I want everybody to send in the screenshots of the application you actually reviewed. I want you to send in the screenshot of the application you actually reviewed, so that when you are talking about it, I'll be able to share my screen and people will be able to see the user interface of the application. Because I don't want to stress you guys where you now say, okay, you are not able to upload the screenshots on a platform, so that, and when you're talking, people can follow through with it. So send in the screenshots and I will display those screenshots. Okay, I'll display those screenshots while you present, and let us know.
Are we going to send it to you on WhatsApp?
Yes, you can send it on WhatsApp.
Okay, so when we send in our screenshots, we just send it with our names. So when we are about to present, then we just say
I'll just bring it out. Yes. So I will present it, and you guys will actually explain the experience you had. What makes you have a bad user experience? So is that fine with everybody? Okay, I think we're on the same page with that. Okay, so do we have any questions? That has brought us to the end of today's class. Do we have any question? If you have any question, kindly raise up your hand so I can receive your question and everybody can learn from it. Okay, I'm having hands raised. Okay, so Precious, can we have your question? Okay. We have Khalid. You have any question? Okay, you know what? Let's do it like this. If you have a question, just unmute your mic and ask this.
Hello, good day, sir.
Yeah, good day, sir.
Okay, so I wanted to confirm you talked about we signing up on Figma, having Figma on our devices. So are we
Yes.
to download it on our mobile device or on our PC?
You will be using it on your PC right now. Using it on your mobile device is going to be later because on your mobile device you can't perform all these functions I've told you about. The mobile design on your mobile device is basically for you to go through your prototype. What you've already designed on your PC is what you'll be able to just view. So the mobile device basically is like a read only, and you can also use it to test what you've designed, but you can't design on your mobile device. So it's advisable to download it on your PC. That's what you'll be working with.
Thank you, sir. So any versions that we should look out for while downloading it? Any recommended
Any
versions? Any recommended versions you have for us?
no, it's the updated version. Yeah, they come up with updates, and it's just one Figma. It's just one, so it's the updated version that will actually be out there. So you just download that and we're good to go.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So anybody else?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good
I have
afternoon.
been unavoidably preoccupied and
Okay.
network issues. So I just want to ask the recap for this because I'm just joining now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can I get the recap for this class? Is there a way around it?
Well, um, okay. So the class is actually recorded already, but
Okay,
it will be available to only people that are paying for certificates, as I've heard.
definitely, definitely, no
Yeah.
problem.
So okay. So you can
So after
just
payment, I will just request for the recap, right?
yes. So you have access to the recordings of all the classes.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So someone asked about the assignment. What I said about the assignment is you analyze two applications. One that after you used it, you had a good user experience with it, and another one that after you used it, you had a poor user experience with it. Now, you have to send a screenshot of both applications to our WhatsApp, to the WhatsApp with your name. Okay. So while you are now presenting, while you'll be speaking about your experience or why the app was frustrating, I will be presenting your screenshots. That's for on our next class. So that's just what the assignment is all about. So do we have any other question? Nobody. Okay. You're
Sorry,
welcome.
please. Which WhatsApp group?
Uh Okay, you know what? I am going to send a text to. I think everybody should be on the UI UX Port 3.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So I think that should work. Okay. So we can make use of that. Just send in your designs and just send in the screenshots, and we go through with that. Any other question?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Please, are you able to provide the PDF or
I didn't get that.
like are you to provide the Word documents or PDF?
The reason why I eventually said we shouldn't use PDF is just so that other people that can't upload it, or you know what we'll be doing now, we are making use of the design screen. You understand? We are making use of the design screen, and while doing that, not everybody will be able to put that screenshot of their design screen on the PDF. So that was why I said we should just send that screenshot to the group with your name on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, so a quick question. Do we have access to your WhatsApp? Like maybe we could reach out to you.
Personally,
Yeah, somewhat that way. Then I don't know. That's why I asked. If it's fine, if we can reach out to you. Then I just wanted to know.
okay, there's no problem with that. There's no problem with that. And well, basically, it's just to yeah, there's no problem with that. You understand? Basically, it's just to help each other better. So it's fine. You can do that.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So anybody else? Anybody else? Nobody. Okay. So I think that brings us to the end of today's class, and see you guys next week, right? Same time next week. And I believe all of you enjoyed today's class. If you enjoyed today's class, just send emoji. Let's see. I want to understand that you guys actually enjoyed, and you guys actually enjoyed the class, and you guys are even more encouraged to become product designers. I love that. I love that. I love that. All right. So have a nice restful weekend, and have a nice restful weekend and nice week ahead.